Lore Together is proud to be part of the Boss Rush Games Network. Feel free to find out more at bossrushgames.com/network. Hi, I'm Safi.
And I'm Mystic.
And this is Lore Together. This is the podcast where husband and wife team go over all the storytelling, world building, and characters of video games. Because it's what we like to do together. We lore together.
Yep, and this is episode 121.
121. I have nothing to say about that number. I keep trying to say witty things about the number. I should just start saying random facts instead or something.
If that's what you want to do. Before we get into the episode, if you'd like to contact us, you can do that in many different ways. Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Reddit, YouTube, Steam, and Discord down in the description. Or you can contact us via email at loretogether@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And like to support us, you can do that one of two ways. First is thumbs up, 5 stars, hearts, whatever it is where you're listening. We appreciate your good reviews and look forward to getting them. The other way is through Patreon at patreon.com/loretogether. We can pay a per podcast episode pledge to get early access to those podcast episodes, exclusive access to smaller Let's Plays, voting rights and other Let's Plays, as well as mini episodes and other fun stuff.
Yeah. And we do release mini episodes. It is a sporadic schedule, so you really just don't know what's going to happen until they get there, including stuff that we were going to record. But August really kicked our butts. Gen Con's always tough. There's family birthdays in there. That's tough. But the combination of that with some other things,
yeah,
August was not our own. It was not, okay, maybe Gen Con was our own, but then the rest of August, we did not, it just wasn't ours whatsoever. But what is ours right now is this podcast episode you're listening to, so thank you for listening. And Mystic, now, once again, I don't know what the heck you're covering.
Okay, so we've talked about this, well, actually, no, we haven't. This game that we're talking about, we've not talked about the developer, but the franchise the game is from, we have talked about that developer. Back when we did Remember Me and Tell Me Why.
Oh. But we haven't done this game.
We have not done this game.
So we're pretty much... Wait, are we doing... what's it called? I know this game. Mystic's looking at me being like, I'm not going to help you remember what the name of the game is. But it's the one with the kid at the boarding school, right?
Yes. Life is Strange.
Yes. I forget that.
But we are not covering Life is Strange Season 1 or Life is Strange 2. We are covering Life is Strange Before the Storm, which is the prequel.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
okay.
How much do you know of Life is Strange? Because Life is Strange gets really dark.
Oh, I know.
Back in the day, Safi did a lot of listening to analysis of games and stuff, and
you have to forgive me, for a while it was Matt Pat on YouTube, who has since been accused, and I haven't dug into deeper of it, but he's been accused of some plagiarism stuff, which, okay, if that's true, my apologies for my ignorance back in the day. But for a while he covered Life is Strange. And so I know how the first game ends. I don't remember all the nuance in it. I didn't see the full Let's Play series or any full Let's Play on it. I just know it's about a very young woman who is going to a new school.
Mm-hmm.
And
again, we're not touching that game. So
yes. And she finds out she has the ability to reverse time and therefore correct time. And
there's
Yeah.
None of that in here.
Right.
There's some theories on people who have abilities, but they are not integral to the plot.
Okay.
This game is, like I said, Life is Strange Before the Storm, published by Square Enix, developed by Deck 9 Games.
Okay.
And yeah, this franchise has been a long time coming for us, honestly.
It's very much a story-driven game with a quirky mechanic that has a niche following. That's kind of what our bread and butter is on this podcast.
So we actually are going to begin at the end of the game. So Before the Storm comes in 3 episodes, but there is a 4th episode that takes place before the other 3.
Again, this is why they're the CW of game producers. It's just wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff with heightened emotions, partly because you're dealing with a very fragile,
teenage.
very fragile emotional state with this age group, teenagers in particular.
Yeah.
We have to remember, scientifically, teenagers have more hormones going through them than a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
So stuff gets messed up in their heads.
Yeah, there's a lot of screaming and a lot of crying and stuff. We're not going to touch on most of it
Yeah.
because, honestly, play the game.
And messed up, I mean, in a very normal sense.
Yeah.
In a lot of different ways. It's okay for your brain to break, especially when it's in such a tough growing process like this.
Yeah.
So I don't want to diminish the teenage experience, because that's one thing I promised myself when I become an adult, is I would not diminish the teenage experience. And I do my best not to do that, but also I look back at stuff I did as a teenager and I laugh, because you weren't yourself, really.
So we begin September 28th, 2008.
Whoa, 2008. So wait. This is great. Mystic, what were you doing around September 28th, 2008?
Well, you and I started dating.
Yes, that's right. That's absolutely right. We had started dating the June before.
Yeah. So
just to give you an idea of where we were at this time period, I was in college, finishing college.
I was not in college.
Mystic's like, I'm leaving it at that.
Yeah. So, all right, September 20th, 2008, a young Max Caulfield, that is the protagonist from season 1, the one you know.
Life is Strange, the first
Yes.
one. Yeah, okay.
Is at the home of her best friend, Chloe Price. Now,
Yes.
Chloe is also in the second game. Here, they kind of both look more alike. Chloe has brown hair
Yeah.
and everything. But after blowing up some dolls with explosives,
That's right, because they're just super quirky. That's their thing.
Chloe has been told by her mother to get rid of the junk in her room, so Chloe decides that she may as well clean it up at the same time. Max looks around the room and discovers many mementos of their years of friendship, which Chloe refuses to throw away. Fair enough.
I still have mementos of friends I haven't talked to in years, but we're like my closest friends in elementary school. They are literally under our bed right now. And Mystic asks me every few years, "Are you sure you don't want to throw this away?" I'm like, yes. It's important to me. It was given in love, so I keep it.
She finds a Polaroid camera that belongs to Chloe's father, William Price, which she can use to take optional photos. There's a little bit of gamification there, and photos do kind of become a through thing in the later game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because she does more of a photography thing in season 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After giving up on throwing the junk in Chloe's room, Max knows that her family is moving to Seattle in 3 days and still hasn't told Chloe.
Oh, God.
Max is worried about how to tell her best friend and is looking for the right opportunity to raise the subject. She can try to tell her while cleaning the room and stuff, but is interrupted each time by Chloe and just plans to tell her later. Chloe finds an old cassette tape that they made as a message to their older, current selves.
Yeah.
On it, they are playing pirates and mention an amulet and a treasure map. Chloe grabs their old sketchbook of pirate drawings. The map is missing, but Max finds it in an old textbook. The instructions include a telescope, which Chloe goes to find downstairs in the garage, and an amulet that Max reluctantly searches for in the attic. Max can explore around and find emails in which Chloe's parents apply for scholarship and are concerned about her being at Blackwell due to an incident.
Oh.
She finds the attic door in the second floor closet and uses a box, a stool, and a stack of books to reach it. Once in the attic, she must remove some furniture and finally finds the amulet. After finding it, she can see Chloe in the backyard through the attic window, who will then see Max and tell her to come down. The girls then attach the amulet to the telescope using tape.
Mm-hmm.
And use it to discover the location of the treasure, quote unquote. They dig up the treasure, which turns out to be a time capsule of memories.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Inside the capsule are various things that they once played along with a tape from Bloody Bill, who is William, congratulating them. Basically, Dad was playing pirates. Max can play a message on the answering machine from a fellow student's mother about the incident at Blackwell that her daughter and Chloe were involved in.
Uh-oh.
Chloe can reveal that she turned on a Bunsen burner near the other student in an act of anger after the student made fun of her clothes and called her a scholarship kid.
Oh, so bad.
Max cannot succeed in telling Chloe about moving to Seattle after they have finished examining the time capsule, or still delay telling her at this point. If she does tell her, Chloe reveals that she already knew, having overheard their parents talking about it, and that Max is moving away in 3 days.
Yeah.
Shortly afterwards, Chloe's mom, Joyce Price, arrives home accompanied by Officer Anderson Berry, grieving, and, we're going to jump the shark a little bit here, but based on the knowledge from the original game,
Yeah.
they inform Chloe that her father's been killed in a car accident.
That's right, because part of Chloe's angst and it doesn't really give away too much of the plot for the season 1, but part of Chloe's angst is not only that her father has died, but I think there's like a stepdad situation.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, which is part of the reason why she and Max meet up again later. It's crazy.
Both of them, together, like Chloe, her mom, and together with Max, they all break down in tears upon hearing about this. A burial service is held, and shortly afterwards, Max is sorrowful, being driven away by her parents as he watches Chloe and Joyce through the back window of the car.
Yeah.
The car is loaded with belongings. They're on the way to Seattle. Chloe goes home and heads upstairs, slowly, kind of in that daze, to her room to find a note with "I'm sorry" attached to her cassette player. She plays the tape inside to hear a message from Max. Now, what we hear changes based on if Max told Chloe she's moving or not. Regardless, it does a number on Chloe, who breaks down as she listens to the message before embracing the recorder.
Yeah.
And curling up into a fetal position as if holding Max to comfort her in her grief.
Yeah.
And that's the end of what they called Farewell, which is the DLC / pre-order physical release bonus episode that...
Yeah, these like niche indie games, once they get like a certain kind of popular, just do these little quirky things like that. And it's just there for story satisfaction almost. And I like this, and I'll just say this briefly, thinking about writing as much as I do, which is all day, every day. I really appreciate the fact that they gave an origin story, but they didn't over-explain too much of like how Max and Chloe met and all listing every single favorite thing or every single favorite food or trying to make a huge origin story thing. It was more like this was the catalyst for the original separation, and that's a huge reason why Max is motivated the way that she is in, I guess what we're talking about next is season 1? No, we're not.
No, we have to go through all of Before the Storm, and then in a future episode, we'll do season 1.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, just, again, not really a spoiler, but season 1 it's kind of like this relief when Max finds Chloe again. But there's also this weird push-pull about it because of how much Chloe has changed, considering all of the BS Chloe has been through.
And we're going to get through some of that BS in this episode.
Okay.
Onward to May 6, 2010. So more than 2 years later. That's not right.
Okay.
A little bit less than 2 years later.
May 2010. Do you remember what you were doing?
No. I don't remember what I was doing like before COVID. It's all a blur.
Okay. All right, Mystic, fine. I was just going to talk about how like I was just having my first job. The first run of us millennials coming out into the real world and getting kicked in the face. That was me.
I was still working retail.
Yes. Yeah. So, you were working retail when I met you, and you were still working retail
in 2010.
And it wasn't like you weren't doing anything else. Anyway, moving on.
So a little bit less than 2 years later, we shift from Max to Chloe now. Max is done with this game. She's not showing up in this episode again.
Okay. All right. So the focus is Chloe.
Yeah. Chloe, now with a streak of blue in her hair. If you remember in the season 1, it's all blue
and short, right?
Yeah, it's short here too.
Okay.
She talks her way into an epic night at an old mill watching her favorite band Firewalk. She even sees Frank, her pot dealer, there. Like,
how old is she then?
15-ish, I think.
Oh man, okay.
I think, I don't remember. And there were people in the comments when I was reading up on some of the characters like, wait, they're 15? It's like, yep.
Yeah, it's weird because Max feels younger
Yeah.
in season 1. But then you meet Chloe and you're like, oh no, okay, this makes sense. Max is just a little reserved comparatively.
Unfortunately, Chloe gets into trouble with 2 men after spilling beer on one of them. Keep in mind, still younger than 21, drinking beer.
So did she have a fake ID or did she bum it off?
I do not remember, actually.
Because there's also some venues who just don't care depending on what little town you're in.
My impression is nobody cares. It's an old sawmill. Like,
well, no, an old sawmill in like suburban Chicagoland would care.
This didn't feel
an old sawmill in like a little town in the middle of this of America.
Yeah.
It's not gonna matter.
Anyway, she is saved from the confrontation by a girl dressed in some punk attire who tells them off. This girl turns out to be the popular Rachel Amber, a student well known at Blackwell Academy who usually dresses far less punk.
So this is her undercover.
Following her fabulous night, Chloe wakes up on May 7th to a family that is kind of changing right before her eyes. As we mentioned last time, her father died in a car accident.
Yeah.
And her mother is a bit beside herself, dealing with Chloe, who is unfocused and not doing well at school and stuff, which is trauma. Thy name is teenage girl in this case.
Well, and also that kind of trauma when you're a teenager, it's extremely formative. So you need a lot of guidance to get through something like that.
But she also has a difficult time with David Madsen, her mother's new boyfriend.
Oh, great.
When I mean difficult times, she literally gets the, you don't have to like me, but you will respect me from her mom's boyfriend.
Gross. Okay, so we have a friend who was kind of put into, I'm in a relationship with somebody who has a teenager situation. And I think he did the best thing that you could do and was like, went to his partner, said, so I'm not the parent, right? And the partner kind of agreed. So it's kind of like, so I'm not going to tell your teenage son what to do. I'm going to let you lead the show and I will back you up if and when necessary, which isn't really been like super necessary. So he's just like the guy that's there that's going to make sure that things are copacetic, but he's not getting in. He's not demanding respect or anything like that. It seems to be working out as well as can be expected.
So, yeah. Anyway, the 2 newfound friends, Chloe and Rachel, decide to skip their classes and hitch a ride on a cargo train arriving at a lookout point.
Oh.
Using a viewfinder there, they spy on some people, including a couple kissing under the tree. Rachel storms off and then insists that she and Chloe get drunk, having stolen some wine from 2 picnickers. The girls go to a junkyard and Chloe confronts Rachel about her sudden change in mood after using the telescope. After Rachel refuses to answer and runs off, Chloe discovers the wrecked car in which her father was killed.
Oh my, what?
Yeah, it's just, let's do layers here. Like,
how is that just not destroyed?
It's a junkyard. It's literally just junked cars.
Yikes.
She meets up with Rachel again, who finally gives up what's been eating her. The couple kissing beneath the tree was her father and a woman who was not her mother.
Oh, no.
So Rachel destroys a family photo in a burning trash bin and in a fit of rage kicks it over. A nearby tree is set alight and starts a forest fire. Cue Firewatch. Just like...
the sequel, essentially. Oh, my gosh.
So this is where I said there's some supposition here that Rachel may have some abilities from this scene because when she's angry, the wind seems to kick up and accentuate the fire. But there's no gameplay in it. There's no concreteness to that. It could just be thematic.
It sounds like what they're trying to do lore-wise and insinuate that Chloe just has this innate ability of attracting people that have powers.
If that's actually what's going on here.
If it's actually what's going on here, it's insinuated at least.
Yeah. May 8th.
Okay, next day.
Chloe and Rachel and their parents are present in Principal Wells' office over there cutting out of school the previous episode.
Okay.
Yeah, these are different episodes. We're in episode 2 right now.
Well, it sounds like it must be a small school if, like, the two of them are brought into the office. Like, oh, obviously.
It's a small
they're
academy.
together.
Yeah, it's not huge. Depending on dialogue and some choices in the previous episode, Chloe may be expelled and Rachel may lose her role in the Tempest play.
Oh, wow.
Rachel and Chloe agree to meet in the junkyard later. Meanwhile, David Madsen and Chloe's mom announced that Mr. You Don't Have to Like Me, But You Do Have to Respect Me is moving in, which causes Chloe to storm off to the junkyard.
That's so gross. I also do not understand how you could be with somebody who your kid doesn't like, or at least
Right.
have them move in.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Just say, okay, we'll keep our distance and well, I know, and it's harder to do when it's a widow situation because it's not okay. But still, like, that feels so gross to me. I don't know. I haven't been in that position though, so who knows?
At the junkyard, she gets to work and starts fixing up a truck. Like, she's definitely checking some of the tomboy tropes in some ways.
The tomboy tropes.
Yeah, she's fixing a car. She's
Fixing a car. She's ditching school and drinking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. She goes to punk rock concerts. Heck yeah.
It pained me to say that, but I think that's one reason they make her do it. I mean, she clearly has an interest in cars to a degree.
Yeah.
Because
I vaguely remember that. I'll just say that it does feel a little tropey, but the reason I might give a pass is that since Chloe's in this time dealing with grief and maybe not wanting to be the person who's sad all the time, being the tough tomboy is an archetype that we see in media and is easy to glom onto, and that's what she's doing.
I don't dislike it for the character or anything.
Yeah, I'm just saying that in a sense of a lot of times in conversations about tropes, like, people speak as if trope equals bad.
No.
But I think in this situation it's more like trope is an outlet for Chloe to be somebody else who is not the sad, crying, missing her dad woman.
Rachel arrives, and the two talk about recent events and their plans to leave Arcadia Bay. Rachel eventually leaves Chloe with a bag of clothes, because Chloe's not going home anytime soon.
Right.
The drug dealer Frank eventually arrives with a passenger who Chloe doesn't know. Frank asks Chloe to collect a debt from Drew North owed to Damon Merrick. However, things become complicated when Damon himself shows up.
Oh.
Afterward, Chloe attends the Tempest production at the behest of Rachel, with Chloe forced into an unfortunate turn of events at being in the play because Juliet, the star of the show, is blocked by closed roads due to that little forest fire that's still going.
Oh my gosh. So she gets forced into the play?
With Rachel, yeah.
Ugh. Okay.
After Rachel and Chloe... So there is some ability to have subtext in this episode with it, like you can kiss... Like Chloe can kiss Rachel. It is not a requirement, but there is definitely some seeding of a relationship in the third episode, possibly.
Oh.
Like there's choice here you can make, but...
This is where, if you decide to go the romance route, the romance starts here. Okay, interesting.
After Rachel and Chloe further discuss their plans to leave Arcadia Bay and decide to sneak into Rachel's home to gather clothing and other items, they are thwarted when Rachel's father, James Amber, greets them. He and Rachel's mother, Rose Amber, insist Chloe stay for dinner. Things get heated when James's seeming infidelity is exposed, but James himself makes a startling revelation about the mysterious woman. Da da da. Next episode, kind of. Chloe Price is at the house for dinner, and Rachel literally breaks a glass table, accusing her father of cheating, and James Amber reveals that the woman he was with in the park was Rachel's mother.
With a wig on?
No. Sarah Gearhart. Sarah and James met in high school and fell in love. They had a child together, Rachel, but Sarah became a drug addict. James eventually left with the child and made an agreement with Sarah to pay her monthly if she agreed to stay away. This worked for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
May 9th, kind of.
Wait. Wait a second, Mystic. You can't just... So...
I can.
Okay, there's a lot of... No, but I'm not going to let you.
Okay,
That's
fair.
really what it is. So, Rachel's been raised with her mother, essentially her adoptive mother.
Yes, without knowing it.
Without knowing it. And the woman in the park was her biological mother. So, first of all, James Amber is still an awful person for what he did. So it doesn't really excuse it.
Oh.
It just puts context to it, I guess.
He's going to get more awful as we go.
Why are all the dads either dead or awful right now?
So, Chloe's dad, great guy. But
he doesn't get to live.
Right.
We don't let good guys live in this game. What is going on here? So awful. Second of all, so what does that make Rachel's adoptive mother? Chopped liver? Like, what is going on?
It's definitely a weird scene. When I was playing it, that is not how I would react. She clearly knows, but doesn't know what to do with it. Like, her character just kind of sits in the background while this revelation happens, and there was no, like, from what I remember, there was no affect on her face. It doesn't change expression at all. So I don't know.
Okay, that's weird. That's absolutely weird. I would think there would at least be a "you're lying." That's not right. How could you guys?
I could be misremembering, but
okay. But that seems that would be a bombast. If my parents sat me down and said something, first of all, that outrageous,
right?
Just let alone life changing, I would be mad. I'd be mad at them for even telling me. I'm like, why? Just, I'm not going to do 23andMe. Why would you even do this? Come on.
So, May 9th, Rachel is understandably devastated and going through it.
Yes! Going through it is an understatement.
And wants to meet Sarah, but has no idea how to find her.
Chloe? Yeah, that's also a problem, too, now. You put the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
And now she has a mystery to solve, and she's a rebellious teenager.
So here's the thing. Chloe has seen Sarah, but didn't know it at the time. She agrees to help, having seen Chloe come out of Frank's RV at the junkyard. Remember I mentioned he had
Oh.
He had someone with him? That's who it is. So.
And that's the pot dealer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And worse. Like, he's the neighborhood drug dealer.
Oh, he is just a designated he's the designated street pharmacy in this town. Okay.
But she figures Frank would know how to find her, so Frank reluctantly agrees to meet Chloe at the junkyard. Chloe leaves for the junkyard, taking her father's toolbox and an older paramedic with her. At the junkyard, she continues to fix the old truck and actually gets it started and takes it for a spin. It's like this crazy driving sequence where she's driving, not a gameplay sequence, but she is making this thing do like drifts and stuff, and I'm just sitting there like, it's going to break. It's going to break. It doesn't, but...
We have a friend who, when it snows, has gone with their truck and done drifts in big parking lots. And I'm like, I'd be so scared. I'd be like, please don't do this. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. Ah! So
eventually Rachel shows up, as does Frank, but he isn't alone. Damon Merrick is there and demands to know why Chloe is trying to find Sarah. By the way, Sarah is S-E-R-A, and every single time I had to write it out, it threw me because we were just watching all the Dragon Age stuff recently.
Yeah, so we're thinking of that Sarah too. Yeah, which, yeah, if anything, that Sarah probably doesn't do substances in my mind. She's so weird that she doesn't need them.
Through conversation, Damon learns that Rachel is related to the local DA, as in District Attorney James Amber. Basically, she's his daughter. And he is not happy about this. This causes him to flip out a bit, threatening her with a giant knife.
Whoa.
Chloe kind of freezes, not sure what to do with this. But Amber grabs a board and knocks Damon on the side of the head as Frank is trying to talk him down.
So you mean Rachel when you said Amber?
Yes. Sorry. It's Rachel Amber, so.
Yeah, I know.
He fights back and in the altercation stabs Rachel in the stomach.
Oh!
Frank then attacks Damon and Chloe rushes Rachel to the hospital. Now, Rachel lives.
A stab to the gut, though, is like, that's like might as well be do Russian roulette at that point.
Yeah, it doesn't bleed a heck of a lot. Like, there's a cutscene of Chloe bringing Rachel into the hospital, and like she's clearly wounded, but there's no like blood trickling down or anything. It's
Well, that's also hard to animate back in the day.
That is.
It's just yeah, that's fine.
But so Rachel lives, and Chloe is beside herself, saying that she froze up, and Rachel says, "You saved my life."
Right, because you got her out of
Yeah.
there.
And she still wants to find her mother.
Oh, I almost died trying to find my mother, but I'm still. This is such teenager logic right now.
Rachel's parents are there as well, and Chloe tells James what happened. Rachel convinces Chloe to break into her dad's office
What?
and gives her a code to disarm the alarm.
What? What is with the breaking into the law? This is what we didn't tell me why. We're doing this here.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is kind of a
man.
thing they do. While there, she finds evidence that James lied about a lot of things, like the fact that Sarah had voided the checks he wrote her
Oh, so she never wanted his money.
and attended rehabilitation and has
Yeah.
taken necessary legal actions to make her deemed fit and had an attorney threaten legal action for joint custody of Rachel.
So was he trying to seduce her to say, hey, forget about the daughter. Let's make a new one? What?
She then learns that James has texted with Damon with a deal to lose evidence in a murder trial, I believe, for some dirty work.
Dirty work is in get rid of Sarah?
She also finds out that Damon has Sarah. Before she can leave, she is caught by Elliot Hampton, who has, up until now, not had a major role. He's been in all the episodes, but he's just kind of been there.
Okay.
He's
He
always
was the Chekhov's gun of the series,
a
supposedly.
little bit. He is a nice guy, quote unquote.
Oh, great. That's you guys missed the quotes Mystic made, and I just immediately just felt my stomach go, ugh.
Who's hiding his insecurities under the nice guy mask.
Of course, this is a common thing in real life. It's not even a trope. It's just a common flaw I've seen many men have.
He had followed Chloe from the hospital, and an argument between the two begins, in which Elliot reveals that he strongly dislikes Rachel and believes she is dangerous. When he's confronted, and when Chloe reveals her interest in Rachel, as we said you could establish,
Yeah.
he drops all the kindness and kind of starts threatening her, using his concern for Chloe's safety to mask his jealousy, and even going as far as to shove Chloe if she tries to walk past him, smash objects out of impatience, and or hug Chloe against her will.
Gross.
Chloe escapes by using a secret call to 911 to listen to their conversation that brings the police. Literally, she goes, "I'm feeling trapped. I am feeling whatever." And like eventually the cops just show up. So
That's pretty clever. I like
yeah.
it.
She then escapes and drives off to the old mill.
Okay. That doesn't feel like the safest place to be right now.
No, but it's where Damon is.
Oh.
Chloe confronts Damon, who has Sarah tied up in a chair. He reveals that James is paying him to kill Sarah, and then Chloe tries to stop him. But unfortunately, she is knocked to the ground and knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
Frank enters. Frank is the drug dealer with a heart of gold in this case, and struggles with Damon. You know, he's there to deal drugs. He's not there for...
Look, I'm just here to get people high. Nothing else. Don't mess up my business.
Right. Chloe wakes up and talks with Sarah, who tries to convince Chloe to lie and not tell Rachel about any of this.
What?
But, you know, Sarah's eventually out. Chloe returns to the hospital and has to decide whether to lie to Rachel or possibly ruin the relationship with... Basically, lie or ruin her relationship with her dad. Regardless of the choice, she and Rachel remained friends at the end. Now, that is the whole story until the start of the credits.
Oh, no. Oh, no. There's a credits reveal?
And then at the end of credits, we are going to go into a hard, dark territory turn.
It wasn't already getting dark out of nowhere.
No. So this will not make complete sense until we cover season 1.
Okay. I might be able to make sense of it, though, just because of what I've had spoiled. But okay.
We know the fate of Rachel Amber in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
This game does not establish her fate, leaving it very ambiguous, but it's not good.
Okay.
We see Rachel's phone ringing on a desk inside the dark room, which is not good. It is the lair of the main antagonist from season 1.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So it's a place you don't want to be, meaning Rachel is a victim of some kind of really evil stuff going on, and that's putting it lightly.
Okay. We don't have to get any further into that because I think I forgot that plot entirely.
Yeah. All we see is her phone ringing and the click of a camera in the background.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Spoilers for the future. Rachel does not meet a good end.
Poor Rachel.
So
she deserved better.
Yes.
She deserves so much better.
There will definitely be a spoiler warning at probably the beginning of this episode, but also at the beginning when we cover season 1. Actually, it will probably be a 2-parter because this is only 3 episodes and it's more than half of our usual script time. So
yeah,
that is 5 bigger episodes. So
that, oh man. So, but this kind of just solidifies why my understanding of it was the CW of video game producers, because it's just, it's so much high level drama, and it's more than just teenagers going through stuff that teenagers feel are important.
Right.
It's genuine people in distress, genuine stakes, with the, and also, why does every man have to suck?
Or be dead.
Or be dead.
Yeah.
You can't, oh my gosh, that's just so, it's so sad.
Well, I think it's also a part of it is that there's a lot, the stories are ostensibly about teenage girls dealing with crazy stuff happening, and the parents who, for lack of a better term, just don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
So, or overreaching or whatever.
Which is part of the reason why it's part of my stance that you have to take teenagers seriously. First of all, they're only a step away from being an adult. So you want to treat them with the same respect you would like them to treat you once they know that that's how adults act. Because when you interact with teenagers as an adult, you're giving them an example of what they should be in the next decade, right? Or what they could be in the next decade.
Right.
And we constantly instead still treat them as kids, and it's like, but they need practice being adults, so you have to treat them with some, yeah, sure, you speak to them with an understanding of like, I'm older, I'm more responsible, and there are things you don't understand, but at the same time you can say that and also say, but I can totally get where you're coming from and why you feel that way, and let's explore that a little bit more so we can have something at least adjacent to an adult conversation. So, and if you don't do stuff like that, you end up missing things like what it sounds like to me is going to become a serial killer plot.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah, because that's what we need to not listen to our children for. Evidence of serial killer plots. Great. Yeah. So.
Yeah, season 1 this is dark. Season 1 is darker.
Yeah, I mean, well, even the first episode in season 1 deals with some really serious. I don't even want to get into it. Some really serious plot points.
Yeah.
And it's with people. I think the one thing that they did really well with Life is Strange is that these are obviously young people who still feel juvenile, but are also dealing with adult things that make sense. Yeah. Because when you look at Chloe is your stereotypical rebellious teenager, but there's a reason for it. There's a whole backstory to it, and when you finally understand who she is, you kind of feel bad for her because she doesn't really have any other choice other than to be this way. And then when she reunites with Max has had a pretty easy life, and there's this guilt factor that you kind of internalize as you're playing the game of like, well, she's been my friend, but we've had so much distance. Right. I know I'm rambling and you have something to say, Mystic, but
No, I got nothing else. I think the thing that bothers me is I am having trouble finding a game that has good lore that doesn't have darkness to it. You know?
Right.
And it's starting to become a little bit of a problem. I want to have something that's bright. You know, even Golden Sun ends on a bright note, but there is a lot of dark in there too.
I think the problem is that compelling stories need to have heightened drama, and for video games, they don't really revel in the quiet drama. You know, they don't really revel in like existential choices or re-understanding of your own identity. There's no coming to age story that's quite like how it is in like novels and movies and TV or even memes. Like, it's just you don't get those quiet stories.
And you know what? The goofiness of something like Zork, is ruined.
Yes,
because Zork Nemesis is a thing, and that is very dark. So, even the goofy stuff, the stuff that we thought was the dumbest stuff.
Yeah.
If I'll have to cover Zork again at some point. It's gonna Nemesis is probably the one that I would pick, but it's so dark.
Absolutely.
You literally start that game flying through a stab wound.
Yeah. Well, and again, it also makes me wonder about how we got to the point of thinking that video games need to have a certain level of violence. Now, granted, there's games that we've covered that are technically not violent.
Right.
But are dark. Like Dear Esther.
Yeah.
Dark.
I mean, it could also be that I'm getting a lot of it right now because so our patrons picked for me to do a blind Let's Play of Cyberpunk 2077. And it's that area where I love this game. I absolutely hate this world and the stuff that I'm forced to see.
We have to start talking about the fact that as much as it seems absurd, because of the way that the human brain processes and remembers experiences, putting yourself through some of the traumatic stuff that happens in video games is literally just putting yourself through trauma, because your body is going to respond to it as if it is trauma. Like, I don't want to delegitimize people who've actually gone through horrible stuff in their lives. I will never do that. But the human brain empathizes very well because the human brain does not understand the idea of past or future. If you are experiencing it, it is happening to you right now according to how your brain remembers it.
Right.
So when you go through some of the stuff that Mystic has told me he's going through in Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, it's nightmare fuel.
It's absolutely nightmare fuel, and it could legitimately trigger you in the future if you ever hear anything about bombs. Like, it's the same way why people say when you read a book, part of the reason it can hit you so hard is because your brain really honestly thinks that you're feeling what's happening to the character right then in that moment. I mean...
So the reason this came up is because when I first played the first season of Life is Strange, I had no inclination what I was going to be dealing with.
Oh, you have no idea.
I thought it was just going to be a bunch of teenage drama in a cool narrative flow with some superpower type stuff, and then suddenly, serial killer.
And not only that, and then it ends on a huge existential question.
Right.
And it's like, what? We need to have space for the stuff that is a lighter investigation.
More Sam and Max.
More Sam and Max. Or even just more stuff like the Beginner's Guide, where there's a bit of like a bigger question going on.
There's a bit of darkness to the Beginner's Guide, but it's such a personal thing that it becomes more introspective. Like, how do I deal with? Yeah. So I guess that's kind of what I want. Like, as much as this is a great game series, it is. Right. We need to get something that's not as dark.
It's so hard. I mean, other than. And even like series that you think you can fall back on, like Nintendo jokingly is always the family friendly stuff, but you think about some like Legend of Zelda has some dark stuff that happens.
I mean, even Mario has a literal ruined kingdom of destroyed skyscrapers.
Yes.
Like
You can't escape it. It all ends up coming in one way or another, and the only way you can escape it is if you go to like those quote unquote casual games where there is no lore. Like there's no lore to Bejeweled.
yeah.
There's not. So
All right. Well, we should stop this because we'll just keep going.
oh yeah, we're gonna step off the soapbox. I'm happy you covered this though, because Life is Strange kind of was a really good push to narrative storytelling.
Yes.
And kind of inspired that to become more of a thing.
Yeah.
And we should honor the series for what it did in that regard to the genre.
And again, it's not often you have teenage characters that are well written and well rounded.
Let alone teenage girls that are well written, well rounded, and taken seriously by the people writing the story.
It's just why do we got to go to the dark? Like, why does it have to go this dark?
I
mean, to this game's credit, there's darkness in this game that seems fine. Like, not fine like it's good, but seems an acceptable level. And I think that maybe this is a course correct kind of after the first one was so dark, because the first season is much darker than this was even.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know, serial killer is a different level of dark than guy who's just, about to kill somebody. Like, as weird as that sounds, like...
yeah, a hostage situation.
Yeah.
And it's much more soap opera-esque.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I haven't looked into Life is Strange 2. I haven't looked into... There's like this other game that features a young boy. I don't know anything about that one yet.
Let's think about even Tell Me Why, which...
We're back on the soapbox, by the way. We're Midwesterners, so...
So yeah, we're doing the Midwestern goodbye to the concept, the topic at hand. So just thinking about Tell Me Why, that had the potential to not have to be as dark as the ending got even. That could have been a really interesting story, just talking about, do we remember our mother correctly? But then there was a murder mystery with it.
Yeah.
Why?
And, it's strange because even, What Remains of Edith Finch is dark.
Oh my God, it's dark.
But it's dark in a way that doesn't, it stays with you, but doesn't drag you to it.
Right. That's fair. It's not, you're not sinking with it. You're watching it from the surface of the water.
Yeah.
But you're not sinking with it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know where this is leaving us, but thank you for listening to this.
Oh, man. If you want to talk about this more, I will say that we are typically on the Discord for Boss Rush.
Yep.
And if you're having troubles getting an invite to that, please email us.
Yeah.
LoreTogether@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on the socials. I usually manage our Instagram and our Blue Sky, so you can hit me up there.
Yep.
But that's a great place if you want to continue these conversations where we end up ending the episode on a huh?
Yeah.
And with that, keep in mind, the Thursday after this airs is when we'll do the first hour live stream of, I guess, the first chapter of this.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, that's a question. Should we do... I don't know if I actually have Farewell. I'll see which one I have, but we'll see which one we do. It'll be episode 1 or Farewell, depending on...
Yeah, keep an eye on the socials, and we'll try to confirm which one that we're doing. And then, keep in mind, alternate Thursdays is when we do Mass Effect 2.
Yep.
Which is dark? Question mark?
Mass Effect 2 is dark, but it's a different type of dark. It's a dark that I don't mind wallowing in. It doesn't get this dark.
Well, I think also because it becomes really absurd, especially with the end boss. You're like, But that's another story for another day. We're not anywhere near the end.
Space opera dark is different than true crime dark.
Yes.
Let's go there.
Yes. Let's go there.
Either way, thank you for listening.
Thanks so much. We hope to catch you either live streams or back again in the next episode. And we appreciate y'all. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.